Good morning, everyone. My name is Kenneth Zaro, and today I'm going to talk about the rise and fall of the Qin dynasty, one short-lived yet very important dynasty in ancient China. I hope you will enjoy it. With no further ado, let's get started. In fact, the word China or the name China derives from the word Qin in the old writing system, or according to the Wade Guy's romanization system. This was a reference to the Qin dynasty, which only lasted for 15 years, from 221 BCE to 207 BCE, and the Qin dynasty constitutes China's first empire. Actually, prior to the formation of the Qin dynasty, between 771 BCE and 221 BCE, China was divided into different feudal states, as we can see on the map. The Qin dynasty originated from the feudal state of Qin in red, and during that period, also known as the Warring State period, the different feudal states of China were in conflict for supreme control of the country. So the rulers of the feudal state of Qin began to conquer the states around them. Now, in 246 BCE, King Yingzhen, whose picture is shown, ascended to the throne of the feudal state of Qin and led their conquest. In 221 BCE, the king's conquest was completed, all the state around them was conquered, and King Yingzhen created the Qin Empire. China was then, for the first time, unified, and King Yingzhen proclaimed himself Qin Shi Huangji, which translates to the Qin First Emperor. Now, let's talk about the rise of the Qin Empire. So during his reign, Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi instituted an authoritarian government based on legalism, which was a political philosophy centered around the idea that the ruler or emperor has absolute power, authority, and control over his people. Thus, Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi imposes stern measures to ensure conformity within his empire. So what are some of those measures undertook by Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi once at the head of the empire, or the Qin Empire? Indeed, the emperor starts by abolishing or suppressing feudal privileges or rules, naming primogeniture, which is a feudal rule of succession, whereby the eldest son inherits all of his father's prosperity and status. That was also a way for the emperor to secure his throne. Under Qin Shi Huangdi, lands were now privately owned and freely bought and sold, something that wasn't possible under feudalism. Furthermore, the emperor proceeded with the standardization of the writing system by imposing the northern script on all China and suppressing all other writing systems being in use. He also standardized the measurements of length, width, and width relevant to the highways construction. Speaking of highways and infrastructures, this is China's Great Wall, and it was under Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi that the wall was built, or at least a first version of the wall. One advantage of the wall is to protect and consolidate territories of Chinese states and empires against various nomadic groups or enemies' invasions. Among Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi's gigantic project figure also the Grand Canal of China, which is China's first ever Great Canal system. The canal created a northeast-southwest link from the Huanghe River to the Hui River. Besides, the canal also helped the emperor to feed his soldiers guarding the northern borders. In addition, we have the imperial roads, which are represented by the white lines on the map. These roads or road projects were built under Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi's rule, and they helped boost transportation of goods and increase trade. And this is the Terracotta Army, which was also built under Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi. For those who don't know what it is a collection of sculptures amounting to more than 8,000 soldiers representing the army of Emperor Qin Shi Huangdi. It is a kind of funerary art which was buried with the emperor with the purpose of protecting him in his afterlife. Let's now talk about the collapse of the Qin dynasty. In other words, what causes the fall of the Qin dynasty? Indeed, resistance and rebellion led to the collapse of the dynasty after the death of the first emperor. The emperor's Great Wall, imperial system roads, or canal system, were built by forced labor, levied as part of taxes. This definitely caused much suffering to his people and led to revolts, especially from the peasants and farmers whose labor built the empire. In regards to intellectuals, they were suppressed by the emperor's oppressively heavy set of state controls. Thus, the emperor died in 210 BCE, and soon after his death, the dynasty fell into a series of civil wars and many more rebellions. Finally, by 207 BCE, the Qin dynasty was overthrown. The rebellion occupied its capital Xiangyang and burned down the emperor's magnificent palace. This then gives way to the next dynasty to be formed, known as the Han dynasty by 202 BCE. This brings us to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed it. This is also the list of the sources that I relied on in order to put together this presentation. Thank you also for having a look and come up with questions. Thank you.